Michael Saylor wants you to go into debt to buy Bitcoin. This has never gone wrong before. You should totally take him at his word. Go max out your credit cards, buy a bunch of Bitcoin, sell your house. Pierre Richard said, sell your chair. No, you should leverage your chair to go buy Bitcoin. This and more news this week on Bitcoin Season 2. Let's kick it off. All right, Colin, are you leveraged to the tits yet to buy Bitcoin?
I feel underexposed because I'm not levered highly enough. I'm not taking my chair and loaning it out to people for 21% APR. And I have not sold my family into indentured servitude to own more Bitcoin. So I am chronically underexposed, sitting comfy in cold storage Bitcoin purchased without leverage, cash only. And I think you're right about the fact that this has ended poorly for a lot of people. It's really funny because we've got this clip of Michael Saylor talking about this, which we'll actually share later in the episode. It was from his Bitcoin Prague keynote. But you have simultaneously Michael Saylor imploring people to take on debt to buy Bitcoin. And you were saying sell your house to buy Bitcoin, which is an argument I've seen made from a lot of people. And then you have Bill Pulte of the Trump administration ordering Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac to allow mortgage companies and banks to recognize Bitcoin and crypto as legitimate assets on someone's balance sheet when they are, evaluating them for credit risk and credit worthiness. Kind of like two ends of the spectrum, but also of the same spectrum. It's like the financialization of Bitcoin versus the hyper Bitcoinization of financial markets, which is we're kind of getting the opposite. But we've got that. We've got the Michael Saylor thing. We've got some news about a new Bitcoin native stablecoin. And also a weird mempool game that people were playing.
Yeah,
I don't quite understand.
We're gonna wrap this up with I'll give you an update for what the Degens are doing, and it's a fun little game. But I think we want to kick it off with Saylor because Saylor is the hook of every single podcast these days. And Michael Saylor gave a talk in Bitcoin Prague. It's the Bitcoin conference that happened this past week, and he had a bunch of very mimetically strong numbers, making a lot of bold predictions. But there's one thing that you've got queued up here where he very clearly tells the listener to go into debt, take on leverage. Literally, as he says, quote, ask your family or friends for a loan. And don't pay off your cheap debt so you can go buy Bitcoin now. Maybe it'll work, but bro,
I know. Let's see what the Giga Chat has to say here.
What's the next strategy? Leverage. Borrow $1 million up front. Pay less than 10% interest if you can. You're leveraging your future.
Okay, I just want to start with borrow $1 million up front, pay 10% less of interest. Who are getting personal loans like that?
Yeah, where do you get a loan to go buy Bitcoin? You literally have to say you're going to go buy something else.
Yes. You either have to commit fraud by saying that it's a small business loan, or you risk your house by taking on a HELOC or something. I mean, does he listen to himself with this? Who? I mean, does he just assume that everyone is like him as a billionaire or runs a company that's about to be on the S&P 500? No one can just get personal loans for that much money.
Colin, it's a banana. What could it possibly cost? $10?
I mean, seriously.
Your underutilized assets. If you got to sell your chairs, sell your chairs. Mortgage your house. Use capital intelligently. Ask your family for a loan. Approach your grandfather, your grandmother, your father, your sister, your uncle, your brother.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine going rolling up to the nursing home? You're 95-year-old World War II vet granddad, and you're like, "Hey, pop, can I borrow $1 million?" Well, that's a lot of money, son. What are you gonna use it on? I'm gonna use it on Bitcoins, pop. Oh, isn't that what people use to buy drugs on the internet and prostitutes? What does are we all going to go tap our super wealthy relatives for loans to go supercharge our Bitcoin holdings? I just
make sure. Yeah, I mean, look, everyone knows that the first place you go when you need money on leverage and you're totally going to pay them back is family and friends. This jives with all good personal advice I've ever been given. Ask your family and friends for money for what the market still considers speculative assets.
Exactly.
Okay, he also says, I like how he says, use capital intelligently in there. So,
like fucking YOLO, dude. Use it intelligently to ape into a highly volatile asset. No, but here's the deal. Like, if you time this right, you're a genius. If you
are a genius if you time it right.
Yeah. I mean, take it from a guy who last cycle had 0% interest credit cards, absolutely giga nuked his credit, and, got paid in Bitcoin and ended up, putting everything else on the card. It's super stressful. And I timed it okay, but like at the end of the day, you still have to pay off that card somehow. And everyone always says, oh, well, you just take out another card and then roll that into it. Well, first of all, there's like an origination fee usually for something like that. So you still have to pay that. It's like not as easy as just getting 0% interest credit cards and then just rolling it into that. That was really easy after COVID because rates were super low. Now they're not. It's not the easiest thing. The only thing I agree on here is the don't pay off cheap debt thing. It depends on, like, if you have a super low interest rate on a loan, like 3 or 4%, and your monthly payment's low, that kind of does make sense to me.
And that could go for anything though. Like right now in a very inflationary environment, if your interest rate on that loan is not subject to change, like that might actually just be good advice going forwards. Like, but again, I'm not going to put that on a freaking slide and be the guy saying this. This is something I'll be like, yeah, it could work. I mean, like his advice is it would make sense for someone who is diehard, who understands the risks, who may not have like financial dependence. This is the thing. Who is he talking to here? Is he talking to single guys who are in their 20s who have like all the time in the world to go repair their financial mistakes over the future? Because like it seems like he's setting people up. I've seen, we have a 10-to-1 ratio of bad to good stories that have come from this type of advice. Even me, as you're like Bitcoin bull, like, this is wild.
I think you're right, though. The target audience is like 20-year-old dudes who dropped out of college, put their student loan into Bitcoin, and like sleep on an air mattress in a 1-bedroom apartment in the Midwest.
Then why are they at Bitcoin Prague? They should have just bought Bitcoin.
But this really is one of those things where it is timing is everything. And if you had done this strategy over the last year, you'd be doing great. I would feel very scared to do it now with Bitcoin hovering around all-time highs. But like you said, Charlie, there are a lot of stories of this going wrong. I knew a guy he will remain nameless, who back in 2021, I think, maybe it was 2022, it was around that time, took out a loan on his house to buy ASICs. Tough. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Like, you can't do that if you have a family. Just like full stop. It's okay to be a degenerate gambler if you're a single guy or a single gal, but not really doing it right now. There are a lot of really good nuggets from this talk. I'll let you have the final word on this, Charlie. But before we get to that, I just want to highlight 2 more things. This one where he tells people casually to buy 50K in BTC annually.
Just casually, just take an extra 50K that you've got and put that into BTC instead of something else.
Just take the median salary of a U.S. worker and throw it into Bitcoin every year. That works for all of us.
Work carefully? What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe he explains it.
Yeah. Work carefully. Work diligently. Who knows? And then there is, this is like the golden ratio, but for Bitcoiners, 21 million coins at 21 million price in 21 years, growing 21% ARR with 21% volatility. This is a real slide from his presentation. And I honestly just think he's either like farting in our faces right now or dunking on us. I don't really understand how anyone could put this up there with a straight face is like, this is financial analysis for Bitcoin's price.
Nobody tell him that Satoshi originally had 42 million coins and then changed it to 21 million in a later code update.
Yeah. And actually, like the actual supply cap's not even 21 million. We just round it up. It's actually like 21.9999999999998.
That doesn't fit on a good slide, Colin.
All right. I don't have anything else to say about this.
No, me neither. I think we wrap this one up. Basically, if you're listening to this, go listen to Michael Saylor. He's a fun guy to pump you up, to get you to huff some farts and to get you pumped up about the price of Bitcoin. But this is that, unless you have the world's leading corporation synonymous with the name Bitcoin and you are the guy who's already a multi-billionaire now, I would probably not take financial advice from Michael Saylor at this point. I would probably talk to someone who is probably more analogous to you and not so disconnected. Like us.
Like us, or like Matt Odell with the just legendary mantra, stay humble, stack sats. Like
stay humble, stack sats.
That's the only shibboleth you need, guys. Just do that. Okay, now on to real news, because that's more just like schadenfreude, I guess, from our standpoint. It's not really schadenfreude. No, I mean, it could be. It would be schadenfreude if we were making fun of people who like lost their house for buying Bitcoin. But anyway,
you won't see me making fun of people. I'll empathize. I feel
I'd be so sad. Okay. So
we got this next one.
This is Bill Pulte, the U.S. Director of Federal Housing, tweeting about an order issuing directive to consider cryptocurrency as an asset for single family loans delivered to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. About damn time. I mean, I get it. I get, maybe why we're just now crossing the Rubicon on this. But for people who have investments in something like Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, like, and I'm not really sure, like, I don't know if I want to be rolling up to the bank and being like, so I've got $100K in fart coin. Does that impact my credit worthiness? Maybe that's not that's not the play. But if you've got a decent,
hot air rises.
But yeah, if you've got like a decent Bitcoin stack and you're trying to get a home loan, and it's a little easier if you're a first-time home buyer. If you're a first-time home buyer, they actually you don't really need too much. They want to give you a loan, and you often don't even have to put much down, which blew my father-in-law's mind. He was just like, "What? You don't have to put anything down at all?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Welcome to the late-stage fiat, David." But this to me seems like something that's long overdue. I'm happy to see it. There are some caveats, but want to have first takes from you before we get into that.
So, I mean, a lot of the hardcore crypto and Bitcoin people were like, it's only for assets that have a custodian. And I'm like, I get it. I also think this is, dumb and insufficient, but like the ball is moving forwards. This is huge. It is kind of ridiculous that we've had an entire asset class ignored as valuable. It just has not been able to fit into the financial system. And now that we are at over $2 trillion market cap Bitcoin and over $3 trillion broader crypto market cap, it's crazy that this asset class cannot be used to turn into real world things, which is the entire point of all of this. So, this seems big. I like to see it. I also like to say that I believe this was kind of kicked off from our friend Marty Bent's tweet pointing this out to Bill Pulte.
I think that Marty might have had a part in this. As I understand, though, there have been a lot of people at the BTC Policy Institute whispering in the ears of the administration for a while.
Got it. Yeah. Shout out to the BTC Policy Institute people. Maybe Marty just kind of amplified it. But,
yeah. I mean, shout out to all of the keyboard warriors. We love you, Marty. Keep it fresh. Keep it real. I mean, all of this helps, right? Yeah. That being said, I do think that this is not super surprising considering, and this wasn't even something that Trump talked about, honestly, during his campaign. But when people were talking about him as like the first Bitcoin president, he got a lot of flack for shitcoins and all this other stuff. Yeah, whatever. Oh, he's got an NFT collection. Like World Liberty Financial is like a 2018 era ICO shitcoin DeFi bastard child hybrid. The meme coins are disgraceful. That being said, now we have meaningful directives like this that actually are, like you said, moving the ball forward in a positive direction that no one else really expected. I mean, since Trump's been in office, choke point 2.0 is gone. Massive win for the boys. We've got this now. Massive win for people who hold a significant net worth in cryptocurrencies. We've had most of the directives kind of outside of choke point 2.0, just kind of targeting some of these crypto companies or Bitcoin miners. Like, the heat's been turned down in terms of legislation coming out, trying to single them out. And overall, it's been really good. Do want to highlight what you said about it's only custodied Bitcoin that can be considered. If I'm charitable, I'm reading that as, well, that makes obvious sense because how else can they verify that you own it? Like, they're not going to be like, oh, hey, can you sign a message with your private key? They're just not there yet, right? So if it's in cold storage.
But you can do this.
You can do that. You totally can. And they could definitely build that functionality out. I think we should keep our expectations a little bit reeled in, a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
The uncharitable read of this is, give big Bitcoin all of your Bitcoins, right? Like pushing the self-custodied supply of coins into the hands of trusted financial institutions, quote unquote, like Coinbase or Fidelity or something. Fidelity doesn't custody, do they?
Well, BlackRock yes. I mean,
they're throwing it into some sort of institutional grade custody for, culling of the coins, so to speak. But I don't love that. I do think it would be pretty easy. I mean, the US has plenty of software engineers and crypto talent who could build out something like that for the US, like a way to verify that you actually own the coins that you say that you own when you go to the bank. It's another layer of complexity. I get why they don't want to deal with it. But I do think that this is kind of how we slowly get Trojan horsed into black market versus white market Bitcoin, to borrow a phrase from John Carvalho, right? I mean, it's little things like this that slowly add up.
Yeah, I think I agree with this. It would be great to see this extend to self-custodied Bitcoin. We certainly have the capability to do this, but as Bitcoin becomes embraced by the traditional financial sector and in the white, economy, we'll take wins like this. I don't think that I tend to think that we're not headed towards the total cypherpunk future that Bitcoin could have brought us, but rather something which is an incremental improvement upon the legacy system, which I guess that's great. At least Bitcoin still allows some cypherpunk things you can do with it. So
yeah, as long as we have the option to do it, I think that's important.
Yeah.
But you listen to the most recent What Bitcoin Did with Aaron Redwing, hyper Bitcoinization by 2032. It's in the star charts. Maybe we still will get it. I mean, if you're a listener of this show, if you're a listener of Bitcoin Season 2, but back before this was on CoinDesk, back when we did our first inaugural episode of 2025, I had Aaron on. She told us, she read the tea leaves, the stars, told you that it would be a very tumultuous spring, specifically calling out, literal quote, if you can get past April, you'll be fine. What happened? You had the tariff turmoil. And by the end of April, beginning of May, she was dead on. She's by the summer, we'll be smooth sailing. Guess where we are? We're at $108,000 Bitcoin. So far, stars 1, economists 0. Honestly, TA bros blown the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's absolutely all your models are invalidated and destroyed.
We need to bring in
chart reading ordinals chick.
Honestly, we need to revitalize. We need to redo our TA charts with the star chart.
Honestly, we definitely need to do that. We need to have Aaron on again, and we need to do like Bitcoin horoscopes. We need to have her write like a weekly column. Like if you're a Scorpio, stay away from Coinbase this week. You'll lose all of your net worth.
Oh yeah. Cancers should never KYC anywhere. Okay. So excited to use my fart coin to buy a house. Okay, next.
Hey, Will here with Blockspace Media. Did you know that we have individual feeds for all our shows? If you're watching the Mining Pod, Bitcoin Season 2, or the Court Show, be sure to check out the individual feeds. You can find them on your podcast player of choice, whether that be Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc. Just type in Blockspace Media and you'll find all our shows pop up, or just type in the individual show name like the Mining Pod or Bitcoin Season 2. Be sure to hit that subscribe and give us a 5-star rating so we can continue to bring you the best content in Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is getting native dollar-backed stablecoins.
For context, we have Lightspark raised, 100, 200 million or so a few years ago to build Lightning state chain stuff. Recently, they've been rolling out a platform called Spark, and on that we have FlashNet. So the first, chains and rollouts or technologies that are being rolled out from this big raise with a lot of talent acquisition over the past few years. As these start going to market, the first one of these is getting a dollar-backed stablecoin, USDB. Congratulations. Great. We love to see people build things on Bitcoin. They did, as you say, announce it as the first dollar-backed stablecoin on Bitcoin, which
is not true in any universe. And they got flamed in the replies for it because Tether came out on Omni in 2014. And Omni was a meta protocol on Bitcoin. I guess we could call it a meta protocol, right?
It's a meta protocol on Bitcoin.
And it was basically a way, I don't know if it used color coins. I'm really rusty on how it actually used this, but it basically issued USDT as an asset on top of Bitcoin. And so Tether's first stable coins were on Bitcoin before they ended up moving to Ethereum and then later Tron and all of these other chains, which is, I think, I don't really want to get into the details of how this is going to necessarily work. There's a reason that Tether moved off of Bitcoin in the first place.
They wrote about this in their rationale. So basically, Bitcoin doesn't provide the speed and sensorability that they really need at the base layer. And these other networks are providing stablecoin rails very, very well. Tron and Solana, Ethereum, they're absolutely killing it with stablecoins for reasons that are pretty obvious. Stablecoins, people aren't really saving in stablecoins. They're using them to transact. So you don't really care about if the network's resilient to nation state attack and going to be around in 50 years, because what you really just need is for the stablecoin issuer to honor the transmission of your stablecoins from A to B.
100%. And the censorability thing is really important because, as we saw recently, right, there was a huge hack that involved some USDC. Can't remember what exchange it was or what got hit. I think maybe it was a DeFi protocol. But USDC ended up freezing all of those assets because they have the ability to do that, right? You can't do that on Bitcoin. I think that's an important thing to point out. The other thing that I would also say, and I'm trying to find if I can look at just stablecoins here on CoinGecko so that I can make a point here in a second. But the one thing I would say about this is that stablecoin from Spark USDB will be by Lightspark will be on Spark, Lightspark's L2. It's kind of like a side chain. It's not like Lightning, I don't think.
It's technically, it's a Lightning / state chain. So it's it's kind of a blend of a few technologies.
Okay, so it's like a state chain hybrid with Lightning. My first question is no shade on Lightspark. I've met the team. I like many of them. Why would somebody adopt your state chain for the stablecoin? Typically, it's the other way around. A network adopts your stablecoin is what we've seen with Tether. So why would I go and start using? What's the edge here? Because if I can be so bold, right now everybody's seeing the absolute money printer that Tether is. Tether, the most profitable company in maybe the history of at this scale, maybe in the history of humanity, and everybody wants a piece of this pie. We'll see. There are a lot of views on the ability to have multiple stable coins, but this is probably a few take all category, and
So not surprised that everyone is leading with a stablecoin because it makes the investors feel very good. And you need a stablecoin on a network in order for it to be really popular and interoperable thing. So you need a stablecoin. The question is, should you also be issuing? Should you also have be tied to the issuance of that stablecoin? That's the question.
Yeah, and per your point about it being a few take all, that's what we currently have. Tether's market cap is 157 billion, and its carve out is the fact that it is kind of this. It is a dollar proxy for the global South. It is a trading pair coin for all of these different exchanges. It's used for settlement for a lot of business deals, invoices, and transactions within the crypto ecosystem. It is a cross-border, instantly settlable US dollar proxy. And so it's used in the background in ways that people don't realize. Like a lot of Bitcoin and crypto companies will use USDT for business. And like I also said, it's used as a kind of savings vehicle and dollar proxy for people in South America and in Africa, etc. It's used a lot by Chinese traders and Chinese investors when they want to access dollars outside of the traditional financial ecosystem. USDC's carve out is probably similar. I mean, it's used in business. It's kind of been enmeshed in the Coinbase Circle ecosystem. Circle obviously issues it, but I think it's the stable coin that Coinbase uses. So my point in saying that is the two largest stable coins have kind of like their own little moats, and they've kind of dominated those parts of the crypto economy accordingly. And the third largest is DAI, which is rebranded to USDS, which is collateralized largely, last time I checked, by USDC. DAI was originally...
It was originally supposed to be a blend of like USDT, USDC, and like another one.
No, it started as a crypto collateralized. So like it started as being collateralized by Ethereum, and it was supposed to be this decentralized stablecoin that you collateralize with like Ether and then other, any cryptocurrency in the, your token within the Ethereum ecosystem that is worth anything. You could issue it, anyone could basically issue these things by posting the collateral. Problem is Ethereum is super volatile like everything else. So you had to over collateralize. It just wasn't very capital efficient. So the DAI ecosystem converged on other stable coins, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Oh wait, here's DAI. I don't understand this.
Yeah, USDS is just the upgraded version of DAI. DAI is the older. It's like it's the same thing, but one's like an upgraded. And so
this
version.
is legacy DAI right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that being said, there are all these other. Then there are other stable coins that have come and gone. Like I remember I wrote about this one, True USD, back in 2018. That was like there was a proliferation of stable coins back in 2017, 2018 as well, for the same reason as Charlie's talking about. It's like there was a huge pie and everyone wanted a piece of it. And True USD was one of those. Paxos was another one. I don't even see them here. I think maybe Paxos became PayPal USD. I don't even know. And then there were a few others like Binance BUSD was a thing at one point. They had their own. All that being said, a lot of companies have launched stablecoins, and really the only ones that have had any meaningful adoption are Tether and USDC.
Yeah.
So,
and USDC it's on the back of the most successful IPO in American history, Circle.
Yeah. That's going to be hard to beat. And you just have to ask yourself, like, how are you going to convince people to use this thing? Like, what is the marketing ploy to get people to move away from these highly liquid, widely accepted, ubiquitously traded stablecoins?
I say, here's a crazy idea. Just collateralize your stablecoin with someone else's stablecoin. I'm just saying, it's not the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
It's not the dumbest idea. People have done it before. If you need a stablecoin advisor, hit up your boy Charlie Spears. As y'all know, we've sold out to the Bitcoin dollar blob, having OpNext at MicroStrategy. Now we are going to start shilling stablecoins openly on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go. So we got too far off chain, Colin. Let's bring this episode, wrap it up, back, ground ourselves for a moment, go back on chain. And the thing is, there's really not a lot happening on Bitcoin right now. Fees are, at this moment, 2 sats per byte, which is up from the regular 1 sat per byte. We have de minimis transaction activity. But guess what? On-chain sleuths may have noticed once every 24 hours, in fact, once every 144 blocks, one block randomly spikes with as many transactions as can possibly fit in it, and has anywhere from 10x to 50x the aggregate fees in that block from average. What is happening, Colin? Well, here I am, a reporter from the degen world. I've come back to tell you, the listener, what the degens are up to. And, you know, I may get shit on because this is, you know, shit coinery, but also like, bro, nobody else is using the chain. So here's what's happening on chain. There is a fun little game, built on a meta protocol called Alkanes, which I have actually reported on the show more than any other podcast. It's basically, a meta protocol on Bitcoin where you can simulate smart contracts. So you can simulate any kind of contract. In particular, there is a fun little contract called the clock-in contract. Similar to you, like a blue-collar worker, go into the factory and you clock in. The degens are clocking in once a day by sending a transaction to get it included in a specific target block. That is, they can only clock in during this one block, and they have to interact with that contract during that block. And that means they get to clock in for the day. It's kind of like saying GM in your old degen trading chats. You know, it's just a way to prove liveliness. And there's really no like financial incentive at the time. There's really no airdrop. There's no token associated with it. It's simply a fun game now that the chain is absolute wasteland. And the degens are posting about them clocking in every day. And I myself have had a fun time building some vibe coding some tools around how you clock in. So you can see here there are certain like open public tools such as ordiscan.com where you can look at the actual contract, and they have a leaderboard for who is clocked in when. You can see there's some people who've clocked in 30 times, which means they've clocked in 30 days in a row. Now, you've had a lot of fun little idiosyncrasies discovered with this. Like, people are really stress testing the actual like transaction pipeline from transaction sender to how it gets into a block. That's been a fun little experience to watch. And it's also the only real thing creating like regular, reliable on-chain fees. So Bitcoin's at $107,000. On-chain activity is at an all-time low as per the block this past week. So we have very few things to talk about. It's the clock-in block day.
There's no reason to do this other than just being like, hey guys, I'm here. Like,
yeah, there's no reason. There's nobody issuing a token. There's nobody giving a reward for it right now. It's simply
does Alkanes make money from this? Like,
no, Alkanes is just a meta protocol. It's a system, a set of rules, and they provide the company who has invented the set of rules has runs an indexer, which you can also run if you want, which tracks the state of all of the contracts.
Is this just people who made a lot of money on ordinals and they're just bored and they're just like?
This is the problem that a lot of legacy Bitcoiners like. They cannot wrap their minds around the fact that degens are very visceral creatures. They care about making money, but they also care equally about having fun.
They just need things to do.
Yeah. This creates incredible viral engagement on Twitter as people talk about clocking in and the harrowing stories of them waking up at 4 a.m. to open up their wallet and try to send a transaction. And then they gets bumped out, because they didn't set a high fee enough because everyone else is trying to clock in. So, it's, one of the fun little micro narratives happening in Bitcoin land. I'm biased. I wrote a little Telegram bot to help track these things. So, this is one of Charlie's little weird side projects that I enjoy participating in. So it's fun to talk about on a podcast because I like things happening on chain.
I have nothing to add to this. It's amazing to me that people are paying super high fees relative to the current fee rate just to say I'm clocking in for a job that doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yep. And yep, there you go. That's what's happening on chain because nobody's making money anymore. Runes are down, ordinals are down. I think now that nobody's making any money, they're like, well, let's just do a game where nobody makes money at all and just have fun.
Absolutely absurd.
Well, that's all you need. That's all you get for this week, everybody. Thanks for listening. Make sure to follow Bitcoin Season 2 at BTCSZN2. Follow Colin as I lay hodling and me at CB Spears on Twitter. Catch you all next week.